300 newspapers coordinated articles criticizing President Trump just after he'd accused them of coordinating articles criticizing President Trump. And nobody read them. If jerks like me weren't talking about it, would you even know? Yes, another public display of the press exercising their right to irrelevance. Remember when the New York Times ran an editorial saying you should vote for Hillary and the rest of the media followed? Now they say Trump's blocking free speech as they all screamed this in unison. Trump accuses them of groupthink, and they respond with groupthink. Now, since the election, the media's been one malfunctioning car alarm, loud, relentless, and broken. This, after sleeping through Obama's terms, ignoring Iran, the DOJ, the IRS, immigration, while dreaming of Hillary. And now he's gone, their dreams are shattered, and now they're wide awake because Trump is their Red Bull. What phonies. They gave Trump endless airtime while wringing their hands, thinking it was okay because Hillary had it in the pantsuit. But the palooka you propped up wasn't the empty can you thought he was. While mocking Trump nonstop, people stopped caring about what you thought. That Red Bull gored your butt, and now all you can do is blame him for what you helped do. And they say Trump targets all news, not fake news, which is fake news. They ignore the clarifications that are obvious to us. No surprise. Remember when one of us would criticize Obama or Hillary, we'd be called a bigot? I remember that like it was yesterday, probably because it was. You sought to silence opinion through fear and smear, and now you pretend you're the victim. You're not oppressed, just depressed. Get over it. All right, Jedediah, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
I know you were in Italy. I hear it's a wonderful place.
It is.
That was your honeymoon, was it not?
It was. I ate enough gelato for all of us.
Well, I don't see it anywhere, Jedediah.
It was delicious.
Oh, fantastic.
So gelato, but I made it back.
Is press speaking truth to power, or are they just whining to each other?
They're so nauseating. This is why people can't stand the media. It's like they say, oh, we had to write this to remind people of the important role that journalists play. If you have to write an editorial to remind people of the important role, maybe you're doing something wrong. There might be a problem. I just think it's so funny because he doesn't criticize freedom of the press. He's not attacking freedom of the press. He's attacking journalists who make it their job to every day go out and with bated breath wait for something to criticize about him. And it's not about Donald Trump. They've been doing this they did it to George W. Bush. They did it to Dick Cheney. They did it to Sarah Palin. The problem is now they have a guy that calls them out and they don't know what to do about it. And it's so crazy to me that what you said before, the collectivist mentality, he's out there saying, you guys are all against me. You guys are on a mission to take me out. And they in response are saying, let's all group together and collectively tell him, no, we're important. That's the point. You are making his point. Thank you, journalists, again, for making his point. And once again, I've seen him pay homage to many journalists. He doesn't make a broad sweep. Jesse gets a lot of love.
Journalist Jesse.
Many people have written books, but he's tired of this. He's tired. And people out there are saying, yeah, you know what? He's tired of it. He's speaking out. We wish other people before him would have spoken out. And when he says stuff like the press is, the enemy, and people are at home saying, you know what, we've been waiting for someone to call this out for so long. Thank you for saying that. It's not the press at large, but when you're out there saying, I'm an objective journalist, and you're not, and you're making it your job every day to take down the guy in the White House, somebody should call you out, and I thank him for doing that.
This is ridiculous, but to me, when he calls the American press enemy of the American people,
fake news.
Says,
fake news.
Oh, fake news. Oh, he never said it now. And then
he said fake news.
He says fake
news. He said fake news.
No, he didn't.
They're tweets. I saw them.
Yes,
with these eyes.
He said it.
These
flatly.
Beautiful blue eyes.
The enemy of the American people. He has threatened even to change the libel laws. We've gone away from briefings at the White House. And you know what? I think it's appropriate for the editorial sections of these newspapers, not the news sections. It was the editorials to say, you know what? We're not the American people. We are the American people. The American people, in fact, America is founded on the idea of a free, vigorous press.
Nobody's arguing.
Well, hang on.
Trump
the legitimate purpose of the press is to be an adversary to people in power and hold them accountable.
Like they were with Obama.
Exactly, they were with Obama. And especially to a guy who lies and just says, oh, what's the big deal? Yesterday, in talking about John Brennan revoking the security, he says, oh, this was all about protecting national intelligence.
Right.
And then he turns around and tells the Wall Street Journal, which didn't run this editorial, by the way, The Wall Street Journal tells them, oh, yeah, that was about the Russia investigation because he's one of the guys that started. So somebody's got to be a watchdog and call Trump on his lies, and yet you guys want to sit here and pretend. And let me tell you the danger of this. Over half of Republicans listening to this now say they agree with Trump. And guess what?
Okay.
It invites the threat. This is what one of the papers said. It invites the threat of violence against people doing their job, which is to report the news.
The violence against, what you mean when Antifa went after that reporter. Jesse,
yes.
I am amazed that now we're demanding that all of our politicians tell the truth. That's incredible to me because there was always
because
this
Obama lied for a whole year about being able to keep your health care, and no one called him out on that.
Oh, no, I never heard about it.
They never had an adversarial position against Barack Obama. They loved Barack Obama. Obama joked about it at the White House Correspondents' Center. Oh, you guys are my base. And everybody laughed and was drinking champagne. Stop pretending like they were tough on Obama. They weren't. They'd have a lot more credibility if every administration that came around, they were this adversarial. But they don't, and they're not. And that's the problem. Because Donald Trump has exposed them as dishonest Democrat Party hacks.
Well,
the media right now are extensions of the Democratic Party. They give him no credit for anything good he does and deny him all credit for anything he does. Everything is framed as something he's done as evil, is wrong, as backwards, and he's not given a fair shake. So when he says, you guys are the enemy of the people, what he's saying is, you guys are denying the truth to the American people. You're feeding them spin. You're feeding them dishonest propaganda to help the Democratic Party, and you're not shooting straight. And why they get that so upset is because their credibility rests upon the fact that they pretend to be independent. And when he says you're not independent and you're lying about that, they can't handle it. They can dish it out, but they can't take it.
The only thing the king wants is somebody who will adore him, who will honor him, say Donald Trump's the greatest ever.
Like when Obama had 90% of the press fawning over him. They asked him a question at the press conference. What's the most enchanting thing about being at the White House?
Let's think about this for a second together, America. #1 talk show in America, Rush Limbaugh. So easy on Obama. #1 newspaper in America, Wall Street Journal. So easy on Obama. #1 cable network in America, Fox News. So easy on Obama.
For America.
What does that tell you? They're number one.
All right, okay, guys.
They're number one.
No, I'm just telling you. You say so easy. Nobody can criticize Obama.
You want a monopoly.
Outrageous, and I'm
you can't stand criticism. That's
can I just slow this thing down? Everybody, get to that happy place. Dana, I am convinced that when the 300 papers did this, it reached at least 300 editors. Because I swear no one would know about this if I hadn't.
I'll be slightly contrarian.
Oh, no.
So, I love the media. I love news.
Yeah.
I love journalism. I feel like I'm adult enough and mature enough to be able to identify when somebody at a certain other network stands up and makes a story about himself versus something that is amazing. There is some great journalism being done in long formats, in new formats, like on podcasts. There's some really good stuff that also, a lot of it doesn't have anything to do with President Trump. There's a lot of good stuff out there, and let 1,000 flowers bloom. The First Amendment includes the freedom of the press for a reason. I believe in the Constitution. I think our founding fathers understood that, as we've all been saying, the adversarial relationship is going to be there, but it is the most important thing. I don't mind that they did the editorials. It's fine. Maybe it doesn't have that much of an effect, except for maybe to get us riled up. But also, he has gone after the media pretty viciously, sometimes deservedly. But he likes to call himself a counterpuncher. Well, other people can be counterpunchers too, and if they can counterpunch with an editorial, so be it.
Oh yeah, but except that it was a counterpunch by mob. They did it together, and they all sound the same. It just makes him look better because he's lone. And I still maintain he's talking about fake news, not the whole news. Can we just run what you wanted an example, Juan, of the media and how they feel about Trump and how they're in collusion with the Democratic Party? John Heilman, take it away. Describe Trump.
I would like a pollster to test this question. How many people in the Republican Party think that it would be okay for Donald Trump to dissolve their own grandparents? I'm virtually certain that if it was a Donald Trump-related question, you'd get 10% that would be like, Donald Trump has the power to do whatever he wants, including kill my parents.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Insane.
That's totally sane, Jedediah.
The thing is, when the vast majority of the media is opposed to one side on a pretty consistent basis, own it. I feel like they should own it. When people who are saying that they're objective journalists are repeatedly taking one side over another, that's a problem. That is the responsibility of any person with a brain and a thinking person to come out and say, this is not a fair and balanced media. That doesn't mean there aren't good journalists. That doesn't mean that journalists aren't supposed to be watchdogs. And that doesn't mean that everyone in the press is terrible. But there is an inherent, consistent, motivated, agenda-driven bias in much of the media. It's incumbent upon people to call that out and acknowledge it. You have to admit that.
No, I don't. And by the way, the example that Greg gave us.
He has to admit it.
The example that Greg gave us of John Heilemann. John Heilemann is not there as a journalist. He's there as a commentator, and he's offering his opinion in much the way that we do at this table.
We have never said anything like that. President Obama would kill your parents if he had the chance.
I won't tell you what we've said on this network about Obama. Let's not get crazy.
Juan, did they have any balance on that panel, by the way?
I don't know.
Was there any Republican on that panel that was saying one nice thing about
And John Heilemann is a
Jesse,
journalist.
This is not what the editorial was about. The editorial is about protecting the idea that reporters can go out and do their job, report the news, and they're not the enemy of the American people.
That was just one giant tantrum. That's all it was.
They've been calling Trump the enemy of minorities, of the Constitution, of the rule of law, and of the American system for the last year and a half. So Trump then hits back and says, no, you're the enemy of the American people. And they say, oh, someone's going to get hurt.
Please,
Come on.
give me cheese.
All right, I thought that was quite...
Andrew Cuomo is doing major damage control after he trashed America with these comments.
We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. We have not reached greatness. We will reach greatness when every American is fully engaged. We will reach greatness when discrimination and stereotyping against women, 51% of our population, is gone.
The governor knew he stepped in at big time and quickly issued a clarification saying that America is great, but that it has not yet reached its maximum potential. President Trump had no choice but to fire back. Quote, "We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great." Can you believe this is the governor of the highest tax state in the U.S., Andrew Cuomo, having a total meltdown? Juan, I got to go to you. Even you have to admit what the governor of this great state said was pretty bad.
No, I don't think it was too bad, but I do think...
Do you agree with what he said?
I think he made a mistake in saying it the way that he said it. But it's not that it's wrong. What is the fact is, and I know we all love to discuss the Constitution, the fact is that if you go back to the Constitution, women couldn't vote. I don't think it's 100 years since women have been able to vote in this country, Jesse.
Right.
Okay,
2020. I think it's 2020. That's why they... Well, never mind.
No, but
I don't want to give you a good answer.
Okay. Thank you, Greg.
No, I said that's what the Democrats should run on, 2020.
Okay, and then I think that obviously you had slavery, 3/5 human in the Constitution. Right. We have had amendments to the Constitution. We have a country that's gone through some difficult times, everything from Japanese internment, right?
Right.
And we've made tremendous progress. The thing about America is, and this is why I think he misspoke,
right.
America is great, and America has long been great because it's a great idea.
Right.
That we can come together, people who believe in political stability, economic opportunity. Oh, Mr. Trump, we believe in free markets. And guess what? That's America, and I think we're still a country evolving, working towards perfection.
Well, you said it a lot better than the governor said it, Juan. Cynthia Nixon, who's the liberal challenger, actually said it pretty well when she said he was trying to figure out what a progressive sounds like and missing by a mile. I think she nailed it.
So you said that he had no choice but to backtrack. The only reason he actually backtracked is because there was like an opposition research firm who's watching all these boring videos of all these possible candidates, and they pick it out. That becomes a national news story, and then he backtracks. So it's not like he backtracked right away.
He got caught.
Right. And I think the thing is if you are nakedly auditioning to be a 2020 Democrat hopeful, you are going to be treated like a candidate. And so these stories, remember Romney's 47%? Mm-hmm. Right? All these things are going to happen. I cannot forget. It reminds me of John Kerry, similar thing. In 2004, an opposition research firm, or actually an opposition research guy on the campaign, watching these boring videos and sees John Kerry say, the Iraq war, I voted for it before I voted against it. And
I thought you were going to say when they caught him windsurfing.
That was the same guy, actually. So I think this all has to do a lot with 2020. It's not just the governor's race.
I think this is going to dog him if he does run in 2020. This is one of those things that's hard to get over.
I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm used to making fun of Chris Cuomo. And I got to do his brother. They need to coordinate their stupidity.
The family had a bad week.
The family had a bad week. But you know what? It wasn't just the 47%. This is the thing. I agree with Juan. I believe that every single person should have the opportunity to clarify what they said. But they don't give us that chance. If you screw up on Fox News, you rarely get the opportunity to clarify whether it's, or if you're a politician like 47%, or remember the folders of women, binders full of women. We knew what he was talking about, but he never got the opportunity to clarify. So Juan eloquently helps Cuomo clarify what he was trying to say, even though we know that, would we ever be afforded that opportunity? I don't think so. I want everybody to get a chance to clarify something stupid they said immediately or a few days after, but I don't think they'll ever let us have that. So why should I let him have it? That's often my challenge, to be more Christ-like.
That's who I think of when I think of our Savior.
Yes.
Jedediah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think, unfortunately, his original sentiment is a sentiment that you hear a lot in New York City and places here. I mean, I've heard many people I know in New York say, oh, America's not that great, go live in Europe, it's better over there, or we have a long way to go. And he's used to having to appeal to New Yorkers. He forgets that if you're thinking about a bigger race, you're going to have to appeal to the rest of the country. So the way Juan said it is a way that somebody could go run for president. The way he said it is the way he thinks he's going to appeal to a very, very left-wing base in New York. So I think that was a big mistake that he made, which he tried to correct. So I don't know.
I think the Republican Party in New York bought him a bus ticket to go to Canada.
They did.
That was their response about that. It's very sensitive when you talk about America and having it be great or not great. I don't think that looks great on a bumper sticker to say
not so great.
America not so great.
It's interesting. There is a Republican candidate running for governor. We tend to think if you live in New York that it's just between Cuomo and Cynthia Nixon who are running for the Democratic candidacy. But Mark Molinaro is the Republican candidate. So there is an alternative out there. That is a person. You want to talk about media bias? That guy doesn't get any attention.
Yeah, that's so true. And he should take advantage of this and take advantage of the other Nixon.
Some of the people, it's interesting to me also, that are defending Cuomo are the same people that hated on Trump's campaign slogan, Make America Great Again. They said, oh, Trump, we hate Trump for saying that because America was already great. And now somehow they've twisted and contorted to defend Cuomo's remarks.
And didn't you point out yesterday that his father, Mario, had a similar slogan, Make America Great Again, when he was running back in the day?
But and much more eloquently.
Much more eloquently.
And his son.
All right, well, the Cuomo brothers need to take advice from the five. Just be a little more eloquent, all right?
Let's get after it.
President Trump has a big league plan to stop the Democrats in the midterms. Find out ahead.
Let's get after it.